know why Lauren's not here?
No.
Alright, well, for whatever reason, Lauren, if you end up watching this video, this is specifically for you. We're sorry that you're not here. We wish you were.
Wait, Lauren's making what?
I don't mean... I'm recording the video.
Lauren.
If she decides to go look at the YouTube and figure out what she missed in class.
Do you have a YouTube channel?
Yes. I subscribed.
So, did you see my email?
Everyone with a
I replied to you.
I didn't look after like.
Okay, so Thomas emailed me over the weekend,
I didn't
said,
know all of them.
Mr. Hudson, and he Schoologied me and everything else, actually. Like every means of communication aside from the best one, which would have been just text me. If you guys ever have any issues, just text me. That is the easiest way. However, if you go onto YouTube and you search Micah Hudson, you gotta know how to spell my first name. I'm not the black hip hop dancer. I am, in fact, the keep calm and do math icon. From here, you gotta hit videos. But the main reason to show you this is because if Thomas was looking for what was the homework from Friday, and he came to our class video from Friday, it always starts with the homework screen. So if you ever miss out on stuff, or if you ever miss out on part of class, so now the video of my classroom is going to be in the video of the classroom from today. It's infinite loop if you want to get stuck.
Recording this. How many subs do I have?
Yeah, so the red and white frame is all getting recorded. It's a screencast.
Mr. Hudson.
That's the webcam that gets the small picture-in-picture. I can't believe we didn't talk about this last week. Oh, and to answer the question of, wait, you have a YouTube channel, every single person with a Google account has a YouTube channel because your Google account is automatically a YouTube account.
Wait, Mr. Hudson, can you get like 800 subscribers, even 1,000, just by telling everyone in the class to subscribe?
I mean, I could get 160. Well, I could get
I'm
80 new ones every year.
Yeah, 80 new
All right,
ones every year.
so back to our real question. What is a conjecture and what is a theorem? And funny enough, it's in our book right there, right? So in previous lessons, we've identified attributes of polygons and categorized polygons in that shared various attributes such as having the same number of sides or more than one right angles, yada yada. In the next few lessons, we're going to examine relationships within a single figure or diagram. And today we're going to identify the relationships between pairs of angles that we should already know, so we should have time for homework. Even though we're starting class a little bit late, we should be able to get through all of this. So a conjecture isn't proven, has not been tested. A conjecture is like a hypothesis. Okay? So a conjecture is what we think is true. A theorem is something we have proven to be true, which a lot of times screws people up because when you hear the word theorem, your brain often thinks about the word theory. And you think, well, a theory isn't necessarily true.
Nope, that is absolutely wrong. A theory is 100%.
Okay, so, you know, people say, like, in theory and stuff. Sorry. It's all what application of the words you're talking about. All you need to know is theorem has been tested, is true, cannot be disproven. So, if at any point we break a theorem and we disprove it, it's no longer a theorem since it is not true in all cases. So today we're going to make theorems. So the page that you have is just a graphic organizer, very easy way to keep track of what we're doing. Some classes will care that you know what theorem number things are. I would rather you know the name. So as we go through theorems, in the book also, it'll probably say Theorem 47 or whatever else.
47.
Learn the name of what it is. So yeah, there's a lot of theorems.
But, like,
We're talking like all math. Hello, smartboard.
Just there's no like red light. Every line has a red light.
Really? We're going to have all these safety drills and then my smartboard's not going to work?
I think it has to have safety drill. Dumb board.
Whoa.
Smartboard isn't smart anymore. It's gone out of knowledge.
Check out 68. We should be able to bust through this real quick. While I try to mess with my smartboard, check out 68.
What a piece of shit. Can you get 6?
Rich, knock it off.
Okay. Wait, what happened to the numbers?
It's not that funny. If you want to swear, just swear. But you don't do that at school.
Oh. Like you can swear in your head. Alright, that's okay. I'll do it in my head. Okay. Wait, does swear have 2 different meanings?
Yeah, a swear word like a curse word, or to swear to somebody like promise. Yeah, they're two different meanings.
Oh, so like
There's probably more than that.
whenever
All right.
said
Now none of you guys had class with me last year. I have a real easy way to remember complementary angles. And a lot of people screw up complementary supplementary just because it's like hard to memorize it. I don't know why. And I guess like back when I was in high school, I probably goofed it.
Complimenting someone is right.
To compliment someone is the right thing to do. It's just a nice way to win friends and like, yeah. There's a whole book about how to win friends and influence people. Compliment people. It's a really great way to like make a good
thanks for
connection.
teaching us that. You're so great.
So supplementary. Anyone know how to remember that the supplementary is the 180?
It's not
What
complimentary.
do supplements do to you? If you take supplements,
Make you old.
they're gonna make you bigger. Supplements, like if you take dietary supplements, they're made to like give you muscle or whatever. Like they're all designed with certain reasons.
Or meat.
Supplements make you bigger. Bless you.
I know.
Compliment. By I know, I think you mean thank you when somebody says bless you to you.
I am blessed. Thank you.
So complementary angles make 90 degrees together. Supplementaries make 180. We should already know that. So moving on, vertical angles. Now, here's the different question, though. How would we prove vertical angles? Because let's say you have a kid walk in that knows nothing about angle pairs, and you have to prove to him that vertical angles are congruent. Jacob?
Okay, so the two angles to the side, like X and E over there, well, actually, no, it's DEB.
AED.
Okay, so X and Z are supplement. Wait, am I trying to?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to.
Why are X and Z supplements? How do we know that?
Because a linear pair
Yeah.
is are supplement.
Yep.
You know the
Succulents.
They are.
Succubus.
They're plants that hold water.
Yeah, anyways, indoor
And then
plants.
Y and X are supplementary. Pretend I pronounced that right. And when the two angles are supplementary to the same angle, then they are equal because they have the same
Absolutely. So, just to start to teach you guys how to write proofs, if we were to write this as a proof, and two-column proofs, in my opinion, are easier to deal with than flowchart proofs.
Oh, I hate flowcharts.
So, let's say that we were going to write this out as a proof, just to practice this. So, we would have the statement and the reason, two columns. Right, so what Jacob just said was angle X and angle X and angle Z. Yeah, it's the calligraphy pen. Equal 180. Why was he able to say that? What mathematical thing backs him up? Linear pair. So your reason would be linear pair.
Wait, what is it doing to your right?
Have you guys ever seen Smart?
No?
I've seen dumb boards.
How can we justify y plus x equals 180? Anybody? Same thing. Don't rewrite it, make your life easier. Right? Double tick marks. Then, Jacob makes the jump that if that's true, y must be congruent to z. How do we know that?
Oh, that's so
You're-
good.
Well, we can't claim vertical angles because we're trying to prove vertical angles. You cannot use the thing you're trying to prove
They're
as a
vertical
reason.
angles because they're vertical angles. I see. We're done. Supplement?
Wow. Because they're supplementary.
Oh,
X
wait a
are
second.
supplementary to
Therefore,
the
they
same
must be
angle or.
I see.
Oh yeah, so you take out that.
Oh yeah, there's an X.
Thomas?
I was gonna say that A and B. Oh wait.
They use different letters in the book, but we
A and
label.
B and A and C are both complementary angles, and they both have
Careful,
one
supplementary.
supplementary angles, and one of them is the same. So the other angle on them has to be the same.
So there are a couple ways we can get to here. If I set this up, that's just substitution, right? Then How do I get down to here?
What are you gonna do to the outside?
Subtraction, property of equality. No matter what you're doing, if you do the same thing on both sides, there is a mathematical property of equality to back you up. So multiplication, division, subtraction, addition, any of that, all properties of equality. So now you guys are actually going to need to write some stuff probably. Let's look at problem 69. Actually, we might skip.
Are we doing it on the
We're
Sierra
bouncing
graphic
around.
organizer?
I know what?
Oh, so go ahead and jot down your vertical angles theorem on your graphic organizer. So I have that here. And just whatever you need to write to remember why. That whole substitution or subtraction or whatever you want to show. You could even copy down the two-column proof if you want.
How come some people use ABC and some people use XYZ?
Personal choice.
Why can't we just decide? Like we.
Abbreviation. Theorem, we abbreviate to THRM.
How about we
We essentially take out the vowels.
P and U?
So, write whatever you need to there, which does not involve your mouth. If you want to copy the two-column proof that we had, I will put that back up.
What should we write for the converse statement?
We do not have one yet. And we normally pronounce that converse, kind of like the shoe.
Hey, you took math with this one.
We're going to skip that because we just did that on our own.
You pronounce you.
We're also going to skip 71, so I know you guys could do that. All right, for A, B, and C, and actually if you're playing along with us, you should probably label this 72 because we're skipping problems. So number 72,
Wait, so we should get out a note paper too?
you should always have out a note page, dude.
Or grab a note page.
I'm never, probably again in the future, going to tell you that because you need to be in that habit. Every day when you come to math, you should have out a page for notes. Yes. Today, 27.
Okay, now we gotta head it again.
And 131 is angles. Now remember, you guys can continue on previous notes, but your homeworks should be separate from your notes. They should not end up on the same page. So in 72, we have some relationships that we see. I want you guys to copy those onto your page. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then solve for x. If you think it's impossible, check with a teammate, because it's not impossible.
I like the angle math puzzles. Yeah, they're fun.
So copy it, then solve with the aid of your team.
A?
So
Only A?
Mr. Kabila has a hypothesis about the birds.
What do
He
you
thinks
mean?
it's not birds. He thinks it's a fan belt. Like how fans have rubber belts inside of them sometimes, and if it gets slightly off, it will cause squeaking.
Oh, birds are fans that, and then, huh? Interesting. I just realized I've read something wrong the entire year.
What's that?
Oh, I thought you said your kids were furries. Not your kids are furry and have 4 feet.
Alright, so I'm going to make a very simple request, but I feel like it needs to be made. Can we stop being as distracted as we are right now?
Okay.
I have Richner over there trying to relate that birds are fans. I have Satya trying to make a reference that, quite frankly, is inappropriate for school. And no one's really focused on it. I get it. Sorry. I get that we're the advanced class and we don't have to put as much mental effort into this, but all the off-task stuff is just driving me crazy. Quite frankly, I don't feel well today. I think I'm either fighting off the illness or coming off it or coming into it or whatever. Which is
Wait.
making it a struggle.
when it says 3x and it's asking for M and P,
So you have to solve for x before you can give m and p. So your first step is solve for x.
oh,
Figure out how we solve for x.
Can we verify that these are that this is a supplementary in A?
Yeah, if it looks straight, it is straight.
Alright, cool.
sometimes they say like not drawing a scale.
There's like one instance in this textbook this year that I think that does not hold true.
Does it tell you that it doesn't hold true?
I think it's part of a proof, and we're
Okay.
just trying to determine if it is straight or not, and it looks straight, but it actually isn't.
I like these math questions. They're like puzzles, but math.
So what do we relate in part A to be able to solve for x?
It's supplementary.
It's supplementary, we have to add them, and set it equal to 180, right? So 3x, 7x, alright, well this seems like it's probably going to be pretty easy.
Yes, it is.
I get 10x is 180, which means
X is 18.
x is 18, which means MNP, this angle right here, is
54.
54. Be careful. 18 is weird to multiply with.
I got 50. Wow, I got 56.
Make sure we label degrees. I kind of dropped a couple of those on the last page I was writing on. We have to make sure we label our numbers. So your numbers should always either have a verbal label or a symbol label.
What do you mean?
Inches, feet, like those are like actual measurements. Degrees, you could write out the word degrees. We don't normally.
Wait, so verbal is you like writing out feet? And
So like no number, when you are like writing out numbers, should be naked, quote unquote. That's what a lot of teachers always say, like no naked numbers. It has to tell you what it represents. Otherwise, 42 is just 42. You don't know 42 what? We're talking pigs, pizzas, pineapples. Like what are we talking about? What do we relate in part B? This is different because they're not supplementary.
it just gives you a sign.
Thomas?
Equal.
Ah, they're congruent to each other, so I can set those two expressions equal to each other. 4x minus 5 equals 3x plus 2. We often in geometry, Thomas, point of clarification, we often in geometry say that objects that are the same size are congruent, but then numerically we set them equal. So when you say the angles are equal, you're right, but we often just say congruent when we're talking about geometry. Okay, so just a little point of clarification for what vocab we use. What do we do now?
You solve the equation, but can I ask a question?
Sure.
So if the lines are straight, that means that it's straight, but does it mean it's trying to scale? Because I got an answer that wouldn't make sense.
Right. So in math, never trust just what things look like. If there's math, that steers you a different direction.
Okay, because I got
So if I draw an angle that I try to make 45 degrees, that is, because I'm on graph paper, right? I know that, whatever. But likewise, if you see, now that's not 45 degrees, but it has a label of 45, then it is. So if there is math to tell you something else, with the whole like not drawing a scale thing, you trust the math. Otherwise, if there is no like math to be shown, or like if it's a straight line that looks straight, like yeah, we can trust those things.
Yeah.
But a lot of times angles get a bit manipulated of like, okay, it's not actually, if I put a protractor on it, it's not actually
because
going to
the
measure
answer,
that.
like this should be like really like.
Yeah. So don't think that your answer is wrong just because it doesn't look like it matches. So then I have 4x equal to 3x plus 7, and then, actually I should not have written that 4x. X equals 7. Which then means when I try to solve for either of these, I get 23 degrees. Make sure it's labeled. In part C, what sort of angle pair do we have here? Complementary. Are they congruent to each other? No. Well, we're not sure, but probably not.
It doesn't look. Oh yeah.
So what do I do instead?
You solve.
Add them up, set them equal to
90.
90. So if I do this mentally, okay, 2x and x, I get 3x.
Plus 3.
A positive 7 and a negative 4 plus 3 equal to 90. 3x is equal to 87. X, how much? 29. That's not degrees, actually.
That's just
What?
Then plug it in.
Oh,
So,
yeah, that's what
this
X
is point
was.
of clarification
Yeah.
for, so technically, I guess I misspoke. When we're talking about numbers at the end, they have to be labeled, they have to have something on them. Variable values do not have necessarily any label or representation. This is just numerically 29. That's it. It's not degrees, it's not feet, it's not anything else. It's just 29. It means the number is. Then I plug it in, and then I will get degrees. So this is 36 degrees, and this is.
Do you have a calculator?
Didn't you know? I mean, this is not hard mental math.
I've always
You should
thought
be
of
able to do
it
this
till
stuff
I-
mentally.
I can only do multiplication and division. I can't.
All right. Any questions from those three?
Nope.
No?
Last one.
Do D on your own. Well, I mean, you can use your team if you want, but D should be quick.
Yeah. I know how to do this already. Easy.
I guess I should move this down, especially for Lauren.
Same time.
What pair or what relationship? Sorry,
Supplements. I'm guessing supplements.
supplementary, right? Because we have a linear pair.
Those are easy, dog.
Oh, wait, it's not that hard.
So what am I relating to 180?
X plus 28, or X 180 minus X 28 would be the other angle.
Careful, hold on. Listen to what are we relating to
There's
the
an X
180?
in the middle there.
What should be on my left-hand side?
Angle QPM and X plus 28.
Numerically though, like what do I put over here?
X, 2x plus 28.
Ah, the values added up, right? The 2x and the 28. Because I added my angles together. So we need to show
Oh,
the
there's
work.
an X there.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Genius. I didn't
I thought
see
you were
that.
missing something, yeah.
It's so tiny in the middle. I couldn't find the X.
Oh,
So
that's why I still
then
get a hide and
2x
seek.
equals
752. X equals 76. It is actually.
Not-
I didn't see the-
No
Well,
degrees.
this isn't degrees,
Mine.
but over here it is.
And so is the vertical angle.
The vertical would have to also be 76, and then we could solve this is
104 degrees. And so is the vertical angle.
It is killing it.
now. Anyone play pool?
I have
Billiards.
played. Oh, sounds great.
If you play billiards on a nice table,
Oh, yeah, then.
What's billiards?
pool. It's the fancy name for pool.
Then we just stick with the ball.
It is the
I know,
actual
pull it
name
in
of the
ball and
game.
Try to get in the hole.
Capture, take it.
Yeah.
Oh, crap, no. That's supposed to be.
Isn't that like every sport?
Now,
Yeah.
I'm supposed to like have a laser and a mirror, and something. We never got laser pointers, and like I don't think we're supposed to have them because it's like I don't know, kids will shoot each other in the eye or something. So we're just gonna talk about this. Well, no, we could try this. We don't need a laser.
Whoa. I mean, I know Mr. Estes.
You're going into you're going into dangerous
Oh.
territories. Mr.
What?
Hudson.
Oh,
Don't
Mr.
worry about
Estes.
that.
Has one for
Yes, I mentioned.
So I need two people that are relatively the same height.
Oh,
Okay.
Me and
Yeah,
Yeah. All right. Get up here, Richard.
you just said me. What, Nate? Are you?
Guess what? Levi, you can be any height you want. Well, almost any height you want.
Yeah, Levi could be anything.
All right.
I could be the
You
same
stand.
height.
This is actually like
perfect.
You-
Actually, me and Sauce.
You stand here.
Yeah, me and Steven are the same height.
Now we're gonna do some magic. Okay.
Whoa.
Magic.
Take 4 steps that way.
What?
You take 4 steps that way. Now this will only maybe work.
What are you doing?
No, each
It
turn
didn't
around.
Now.
awkward.
Gaze into each other's eyes, but not into the eyes. Can you figure this out?
Oh, here you go. Here you go.
Hi. What's up?
Oh,
So-
In the
I
mirror.
could,
Hi.
you're using
Hi.
reflection as an angle.
So now hold on. If these guys are actually the same height, and if their eyeballs are actually at the same location, like height, what else could we say about this situation that we just made up here? Levi?
They're the same distance away from them.
How can we say that?
Because y'all don't take the same amount of steps.
Well,
It's
but
more
then
like
I shifted
going
around
like
a little
this.
bit.
So therefore, we'd have to be the same distance away from the
I
hand.
like the vertical angle thing.
Now wait a minute. What was that, Nidden?
I like the vertical angle thing we did right there.
Okay, kind of like the vertical angle thing,
They're not like
but
side
not,
side.
right?
Yeah.
Like, your angles aren't vertical.
They're
Wouldn't it be like would it be side angle side or would it be like parallel?
Side angle side.
Because it would be like height and the distance to it,
You guys can really see.
or would it be like
They want to keep staring into each other's eyes.
parallel, or would it be like parallel lines where
okay. Take one step forward right now.
So
where
we
corresponding?
were hypothesizing these were fixed and the same.
Yeah.
Right? Then Levi said, well, if that's true, these have to be the same.
Oh, I know.
And if they're both standing, grab some. If they're both standing straight up,
We are no longer standing.
Satya?
Well. Okay, can I? You take. I just thought. Yeah. But also, you could. Both of those triangles equal each other in area, right?
I mean, sure. That's what we're hypothesizing.
It's the hypothesis.
Yeah, because since they're the same height and it's the same angle,
No, we don't know the same angle yet.
well, they're the same height though.
Same height and length.
Yeah, and they're the same distance away, so it has to be
What types of triangles did we make?
right triangle.
Right, because
So
they're
you just
standing
measure it
up.
Yeah.
Like you do the height of the floor distance between them and height of us.
But
We
we
square it
not
and
know
then
the other.
square behind it.
Is side angle side a thing? Like
Yes.
a theorem that we can prove triangle congruent?
Side angle side this thing.
So are these triangles congruent?
Yeah.
So that means this has to be the same as this. And likewise, this has to be the same as that.
So they're congruent.
What we have just proven, angles of reflection are congruent.
Genius.
So just like vertical angles being congruent, but these aren't vertical angles. Now, is there a way that we could actually relate this to vertical angles? Sure.
I sure hope you can. I sure hope you can.
Can't use the wrong question.
Well, gosh dang it.
Chris,
Anywho.
That's straight.
Oh! Okay, extend it.
I was seeing how observant we were being with the book that was right in front of us. So, who's seen Stranger Things?
It's simple.
Right?
The upside down.
The upside down,
The
right?
Demi
But
Gorgon.
it's not exactly.
If you imagine that there's actually an evil Christopher in the upside down.
And I'm
Right.
going to
Now,
destroy
so-
the
So think back to Chris and Nidden, but then there's evil Chris and evil Nidden in the
blow.
upside downs. Good Chris, if you could look through the mirror, let's imagine the mirror goes into the upside down,
Oh.
he would be staring into the eyes of evil Nidden. If good Nidden went through the mirror, was able to see into the upside down, he would be staring into the eyes of evil. Which,
I look exactly the same. The same too.
his shirt's on backwards in the upside down.
No,
So,
he's on set.
what we're relating
He's on
here,
set.
hold on, because we only have 5 minutes. I want to give you guys the last 5 to work on your homework. What we're relating is if we manipulate the original situation and are able to look at it like this and imagine that the whatever we're talking about, gaze or light source or whatever, if your gaze could go through the floor into the upside down, we can set up a vertical angle pair that shows us why the angle of reflection is congruent.
That's magic.
I think that's everything we think that.
Of course, though, the evil me would never sit there and just let.
And
Mirror be
you
taken.
keep this. Don't lose your theorem graphic
A
organizer.
mirror picture.
Aside from that, it shows a little bit more about what we were doing last week in your math notes box, which means it's probably in your homework. So if you need any help on the homework, check your math notes box first. Shows area as product and as sum. And then, again, reminder, about the what am I trying to say? The binomial multiplication, or actually polynomial, it can be any amount of terms, multiplication box. Easy way to break up your multiplication. Back in the day, we used to just teach you guys FOIL and make you memorize stuff, and now we have nicer ways to actually see what we're doing.
My favorite teacher.
Do you guys know FOIL?
Yeah.
Do you know? Does anyone not know FOIL? Not like the metal that you put on your food, but
Oh,
FOIL the
no.
math. So FOIL the math thing.
It's like an extra short form.
This x plus 6, x plus 1. You can do your homework. You can ignore me right now if you want. This turns into x squared plus 7, x plus 6, which if we write out the nice way to do it using the box, we can do this. However, what FOIL actually means is first, outer, inner, last.
Yeah, that.
We multiply the first. It's actually just fancy distributive property. We multiply the first to the first. We multiply the outer to the outer. We multiply the inner to the inner. And we multiply the last to the last. And that will give me all of these terms. First, outside, inside.
So really, it's just a nice way to remember it.
It's another way to break up the multiplication.
You just became
Now, that only works with two binomials. The reason that CPM is teaching it to you using this method is what if I had x squared plus 6x plus 4? Then FOIL doesn't work. A manipulation of FOIL, where you actually just have to make sure you distribute to everything, would work, but FOIL itself would not actually work. The box method of multiplying, the area model, that will work for any amount of terms. You can always use the area model for multiplication. That's all I got.
You just became a new favorite teacher just because you hole punch your notes that you give out.
Why would I not? Work smarter, not harder, right?
Most people don't
All right.
the last story.
You have 3 minutes to get some homework done.
Wait, Mr. Hudson.
Yeah.
It's a 20.
You're supposed to write your complimentary and supplementary work, right?
It's a 20.
Examine the diagrams below. For each pair of angles marked on the diagrams, quickly decide what angle pair relationships you have. You may list more than one.
So we don't have to list more than one.
So what could A be if we were trying to list more than one? Supplementary and yeah, but that we don't have the other inside ones, so we can't really do that. Linear, right? They're a linear pair, but they're also a supplementary pair.
Is this section 1.3.1, right?
Jesus born, Jason.
Yes.
Jesus is born because of Jason Christ.
What if Jesus' name was really Jason?
I need to verify. We might have longer than this. I need to verify our schedule.
No, I picked the